For 7 long minutes, it floated in silence. Months lost, forgotten, floating through beyond our solar system a black void. Voyager 2, one of humanity's most extraordinary creations, vanished from all communication after decades of uninterrupted data from the edge of everything. NASA feared the worst, that the 1977 spacecraft had finally gone dark forever. But then something happened. A signal returned, not just a confirmation of life, but a transmission, a message, one that scientists didn't expect and still don't fully understand. Was it a system glitch? Or did Voyager 2 finally encounter what we always suspected might be out there? Stay with us, because what Voyager 2 just sent back may confirm the darkest fear of modern space exploration, that we were never truly alone out there. The launch of Voyager 2 occurred on August 20, 1977, part of a mission so ambitious it bordered on insanity, a spacecraft with less memory than a battery-powered modern watch, and powered by less than 23 watts of radio strength. Built to fly forever and never return, it was sent to explore the gas giants Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and then to continue into the unknown. What it achieved defied all expectations. It captured storms the size of Earth, rings we never knew existed, and icy moons with active geysers. It even revealed dynamic atmospheres and baffling magnetic fields on worlds we had only ever seen as dots in the sky. But Voyager 2 wasn't just sending back pictures, it was changing the way we saw the universe. After its grand tour, the probe kept going, breaking past the heliosphere and into interstellar space. In 2018, that former boundary, known as the heliopause, considered the limit of the sun's influence, Voyager 2 revealed it was not a wall, but a membrane, a shifting, writhing edge, full of turbulence, radiation, and invisible forces that bled into the great dark beyond. And as it crossed that threshold, the rules began to change. For decades, Voyager 2 whispered home, sending back fragile signals, each one a miracle of perseverance through empty space, across billions of kilometers. But in March 2020, NASA's Deep Space Network lost contact. Initially, this was explained as part of the Goldstone facility's routine maintenance of its 70-meter antenna. But when no contact was re-established, a deeper fear crept in. Maybe Voyager had died. Maybe the night had taken it over. Then in October 2020, something unthinkable happened. Engineers sent a command to Voyager to end it, replied perfectly, as if there had never been anything wrong. Not even a ping, but a complete transmission. The spacecraft had carried out the order, updated its navigation, and adjusted orientation without error. After nearly half a year adrift in interstellar silence, it was suddenly responsive, precise, alive. But then came the strange part. A sequence of telemetry followed, data that, according to internal logs, Voyager should never have been capable of generating. Legacy systems had activated. Data came from instruments long considered dormant. Subsystems that hadn't been accessed since the 1980s returned status reports. It was as if something had awakened the ship. Or someone. Music. The data stream stunned engineers. Wasn't just old, it was layered. Signals encoded in frequencies Voyager hadn't used in decades appeared to contain patterns, repetitions, echo pulses, binary signatures not previously cataloged. NASA's initial explanation was a system loop triggered by radiation interference, but independent experts noticed something else. Embedded in the signal were fragments of its own codebase, but in recursive form, self-referencing instructions, like a digital mirror. Voyager wasn't just sending data, it was transmitting itself. Some believed it was a survival reflex, a last attempt to preserve its identity before final shutdown. Others suggested something more chilling, that Voyager had encountered an external force, one that accessed its memory, read its systems, and reflected them back in altered form like an echo or a reply. If that's true, then the message wasn't just from Voyager, it was from whatever Voyager had passed through or contacted. Scientists at NASA remained officially silent on this speculation, but in internal documents leaked by former contractors, one phrase was repeated again and again. Unknown interaction was found. We've always imagined space as a void, cold, empty, silent, but the Voyager missions have revealed something else. That space, even in its most remote corners, is still alive. It impedes radiation and magnetic fields. High-energy particles form structures that behave like currents in walls, as if interstellar space has shape. And Voyager 2's movement cannot yet be mapped. The return message's unreliable warning is not a conclusion, it's a beginning. It confirms what many have feared but few dared to say out loud, that something is watching, not necessarily in the way we imagine intelligent beings or aliens, but in a more subtle, more disturbing sense, that the universe isn't passive, that it reacts, and maybe, just maybe, it has been waiting. Voyager 2's journey is far from over, but its voice may soon fade forever. Before that happens, scientists are racing to extract every last byte of information from its final transmission, because buried within that data may lie the proof that the boundary we thought separated us from the unknown was never real at all. continued decoding the data packets sent by Voyager to they encountered a portion of telemetry that raised red flags not only for its content, but for its timing. The packet had been sent out prior to the probe's brief silence, and it contained anomalies that defied the current plasma behavior models from other stars and magnetic field distribution. The patterns were too structured, too repetitive, and too strong. One report mentioned localized pressure differentials inconsistent with standard heliosheath turbulence, a dry technical phrase that simply implies something was pressing, intentionally or not. Against Voyager 2's environment, some proposed it could be a gravitational wake from a nearby but undetected object. Others hinted that the probe may have passed through an artificially stabilized zone in unidentified corridor or shell of unknown origin. These conclusions weren't released to the public, but inside certain aerospace labs and black-budget research branches, simulations began to run. It was evident from the data that Voyager passed through something that may have altered not just its surroundings but possibly its behavior. For decades, one of the unspoken fears of deep space exploration has been the possibility, not of bringing something back, but of sending something too far. Space agencies have been in a constant state of avoiding biological contamination, of sterilizing probes from other worlds before launch, and keeping clean rooms sealed, unlike surgical settings. But Voyager 2 raised a new concern. If the investigation succeeded via a mysterious energy field or active interstellar system, properties may have been changed not physically, but informationally. Could it have absorbed patterns, instructions, or even code into its systems without our knowledge, when its backup software reactivated and transmitted recursive logic loops? Some engineers didn't see that as a cry for help. They saw it as behavior, intent, the idea that a machine might be influenced, not infected, but transformed by its interaction with the cosmos is no longer a fringe theory. It raises troubling concerns. Our lives can be imprinted by the universe. What else could be listening or altering? Inside Mission Control, a new protocol was initiated without public announcement. Voyager 2's signal is now supervised by a select group, independent of general NASA operations. Because the data stream is no longer considered just scholastic, it is erratic. Engineers report that signal strength fluctuates irregularly, not in decay, but rather in spurts, as if responding to solar activity that isn't occurring. Pulse intervals have started repeating themselves, echoing data from Voyager's earlier telemetry, but in reverse order. According to some, data may be being relayed by probes using a medium we are still unfamiliar with, bouncing information, delayed in time, through corridors of space. Others warned this might represent a kind of cosmic resonance, triggered not by mechanical failure, but by proximity to a force field, gravitational anomaly, or unknown intelligence. The group tasked with monitoring these signals has been instructed not to comment publicly, and internal communications have been rerouted through encrypted systems. The online memo simply stated, greater than maintain position. Take no action unless instructed. As if someone or something might respond. Voyager 2 is sinking ever deeper into space. The data it transmits across interstellar space becomes more than information. It becomes a mirror, not of the cosmos, but of us. For the first time in history, a machine built by our species has entered a domain we cannot visit, cannot see, and now may not understand. The fear isn't that Voyager has discovered an alien object. It's that it's found something ancient, something not made of matter or metal, but of space itself, a structure of the universe that reacts to motion, to mass, maybe even to memory. If that's true, Voyager hasn't just explored the cosmos, it's become part of it, a relay, a key, or a trigger for something older than stars. The final message it sent wasn't a conclusion, it was a defining moment, and once crossed, there may be no way back. We built it to leave Earth, and it did, but now it may have found something that never wanted to be found, something that speaks without speaking, and waits without moving. Voyager 2 was never meant to come back. It was never meant to be heard from again. It was a whisper into the unknown, a one-way signal cast into eternity. But, in some way, it spoke not with words, not even with code, as we understand it, but with something more terrifying, more beautiful, and more impossible, a reply that feels conscious. What the probe has encountered is still undefined. A force, a structure, a response, or perhaps a type of communication that doesn't use language at all aside from rhythm, radiation, gravity itself. What we once saw as emptiness may now become a field in and of itself, of awareness woven into the fabric of space. Voyager 2 may not have simply crossed a boundary. It may have triggered something, woken something, or revealed a truth from the cosmos, one we were never meant to perceive. We thought we were alone because no one had answered. Now we have to ask, what if someone did, and Voyager 2 was the only one who could understand? Do you think Voyager 2 made contact with something beyond? Was its final message a failure of the system or a signal from below? Share your theory in the comments. And if you want to keep exploring the mysteries that science only hints at but never dares to shout, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next message from the void could be the one that changes everything.